First Corinthians 1, verses 27 through 29. God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise, and chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. God chose what is low and despised in the world, even things that are not, to bring to nothing things that are, so that no human being might boast in the presence of God. Heavenly Father, we know that any success that we enjoy is only because of you. Thank you for the huge success of this commission as a whole over the past decade. Let them always give you the praise and the honor and the glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mr. District 1 here. Mr. District 2 here. Mr. District 3 here. Mr. District 4 here. Mr. District 5 here. Public comments from citizens. Rachel Pratt. Stiver.
Morning. I'm Rachel Stiver. I'm from Goodwill Mills in Kaywood. These are my colleagues, Steve Serio and Freddie Lynn, and we're here today just to thank the commission for letting us work on the new radio arena at the Ag Center in Calhoun County. We're honored to be part of the growth in the community, to get to work with John and Steve and Joseph and Brittany and Robert on. So we were blown away at the ribbon cutting, how many people showed up to support the center, and just wanted to have a day to thank you all for trusting us.
Yeah, I'm a lifelong Calaveras County guy, graduated from Reeltown, so I appreciate working back home again instead of property here in Calaveras County. So, just appreciate everything all that it's done. We worked on the courthouse before, the odd jobs and everything. It's just been a great relationship, so really good assist, I think, for that.
That's really, I'm Sam Serio, I'm out of our Auburn, Alabama office, their engineering team there, but just super grateful to be in a community where we get to serve a community that really appreciates good work and hard work. So just thank y'all very much for letting us be a part of it.
Thank y'all. Y'all were easy to work with. We worked with a lot of them. It's good.
I'm not going to wait for the bus. He's an old passmate of mine, so.
Thank you.
We do appreciate it. It was good work.
Thank y'all very much.
Moving on, Michael White in front of the board.
Hello, I'm Martha D. White, and this is Linda Floyd, and we're board members of Tallapoosa Aid People. We've been board members for quite a while, and it's this organization is near and dear to us. I want to thank y'all for allowing us to speak again about Tallapoosa Aid People. We've been helping people in Tallapoosa County, with emergency needs since 1983. But since 2024, TAP has experienced a shortfall of approximately $3,000 each quarter and had to turn away people. Like in 2025, the first quarter, they called and we said no funds, that was a total of 96. In the second quarter, total of 32. Third quarter, 50. Fourth quarter, 52. And in 2026, it started again. The first quarter, we had to turn away 55 people. Some of these might not qualify, but most of them do, and we try to help them with anywhere from whatever they need for their past due bill, and up to $300. That's our max, and we help them once a year. And I emphasize emergency needs because that's what we help with. Somebody who can't pay their utility bill or their rent for that month, for illness or whatever their emergency is, so we try to help them. We receive, like if we can't help them, I wanted to add that we send them to other agencies or churches or people we know that help people who need emergency needs. We receive quarterly donations from United Way, churches, individuals, and there are one-time donations of the year from Fort Spanda Creek Indians, the Gaps Jefferson Foundation in Coosa County, but they do not cover
with them, we sold like 88 plates. And, we were able to raise between that and the donations a little over $1,000, which was good for us because we're competing with all of the other people who are fundraising also. And that's what's a challenge because some are not as familiar with TAP. It's actually a county-wide agency, even though their office is in Alex City. A lot of people think it's all Alex City, but we've helped everyone from Newside, Davidson, Naval, Campbell, Reeltown, and that's something where y'all can help us as well. We want more awareness about what we do because we do try to help as many as we can. And like Martha D was saying, we only help once a year, maybe once every 12 months. So it's not like what I used to call in my other profession, frequent flyers. This is truly a need that someone has, and we coordinate. If we can't do it all, we have coordinated with a lot of other agencies to try to help. And I know Martha D has a couple of examples of people we've helped this year.
If you allow me to read, some examples. One is like Kat received a call from the student counselor from CACC. She had a nursing student who was going to have to drop out of school because she was not getting enough hours at work to pay her bills. The student was a, 27-year-old lady. Her Alabama Power bill was past due in the amount of $330.90. The CAT counselor had found someone to pay $150 on the bill, and CAT was able to pay the balance. That's what we do, we coordinate. If we can pay $150, we ask somebody if they can complete it. The CAT was able to pay the balance, and the counselor was helping her to get student aid job, helping her to be able to stay in school. The young lady was grateful for that. Another example of what we help, how we help, a 63-year-old lady needed help with her Alabama Power bill. She is a victim of domestic violence and her husband has been arrested. She's getting a divorce and she's struggling to pay her bills without his help. TAP was able to pay her past due bill, and this would keep her power on from being turned off. And she was very thankful to TAP for TAP's help.
And there was another example that we did mention this, maybe at another meeting we had. There was an older lady who had lost her adult son in an accident, and basically had spent all of her life savings and her checks to try to help cover the cost of his funeral, and then she faced getting I believe it was utilities turned off, and was just really desperate, and we were able to help her during that time. But that's y'all know I don't get involved in something unless I really believe. I know all of y'all know me, we've been through a lot together, when I was at CHR. And this is really a great organization, and with the cost of living, utilities, everything from sewage, well, everything to gas, and, people are struggling, and that's what I like about TAP. We're able to help with some of the true emergencies. And one thing, even though we serve Tallapoosa and Coosa County, we do have monies that are earmarked specifically for this county. Like we get funding that they get from different individuals or groups, and they want their money spent specifically in Coosa, and the same way in Tallapoosa. So, when Martha D talks about, anything, we might feel led, if there's any way to help us. If you want it earmarked specifically for Tallapoosa, that's what we can do.
And give a report.
And we can report, yeah, we do.
How we spend it.
We do, monthly, quarterly reports to United Way. They have one of the most detailed, I say they, we have one of the most detailed reports, of how the money is spent. We're good stewards with that money.
And I just wanted to add, I said that we keep having to turn people away. Another fact is like, in previous years, we've had like $10,000 at the end of the year to go forward till we get our next United Way check or grant checks or stuff like that.
rounded up a few last minute donations for some really desperate cases, but,
calling around,
yeah.
touch base with different organizations. I just wanna say that, all our funds except 20% administration go back to the community. We have very little administration, yes.
Was there a reason the United Way allocations?
I think over time, this started several years ago, I won't say even pre-COVID, or right before COVID. And I'm not real sure why they decreased. We just tried to, at one time, we were getting, about 20,000 more a year than what we are right now. I think it's just been a gradual, and speculations, if we don't focus tonight is, they also want us to do fundraising as well, and that's what we do. And then there may have been greater needs in some of the other agencies that, don't like. This county, we have a lot of folks who are in need.
So have the number of people you're helping increased, decreased, stayed the same?
Overall, it's increasing, and then
Well,
to
a
turn
little bit,
away.
yeah. We have more calls than we used to.
Sure.
And, but we're turning away a lot, and I know some of those probably won't we have guidelines, I should say, to help people, and they fit into those guidelines. Our administrator calls them in for an appointment, and we go over their income and expenses.
And we have a very detailed application, it's not just,
And then that administrator helps them with the amount of money they think would help them pay their bill, all of it or part of it.
I guess, given the numbers for 2025, so that's 230 people that you couldn't, based on.
pretty close to that.
Yeah.
So if you need 3,000 per quarter approximately, then it'd be like $520 per incident, or number of people you're helping. Does that sound about right?
Well, we can only do 300, but.
Okay.
Yeah, but we need more if we had it, I mean, we don't want people.
We find that we see greater increases, like in the winter months, of course, and, especially if we have a bad winter where everybody's running, the heater and the gas and poorly, insulated homes, and then if we have like a heat wave, the AC, or with the air conditioning.
So our numbers vary throughout the year, so.
So each person they help is one time $300.
Up to 300.
Up to 300.
Up to.
Sometimes we just pay like $86, whatever the past due bill is. And like I said, it's once a year. We keep records on who helped it before.
Could you share those records?
Not the names,
Not the
No,
but
but
the
just the total.
situation.
Yeah, the total is fine. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, I'll send it out.
Could we possibly get a copy of your application and your qualification criteria? That would be great. That may give us a better way to manage this, we have to do the whole issue with the, end of the year.
Right.
Then maybe there'll be a framework we can look at, we can put a little more structure to that.
Anything we.
Yeah, it needs to be provided. We have a computer, but most of the things I can generate the report for you.
We appreciate what you do, and the number of people that you do help, and the needs are great, so.
Well, Martha Dee's been involved as well, I've been like 2012, I don't remember when she wasn't involved, but I think it was before that.
When we
Her
first
heart is
started,
this.
yeah, when we first started, but.
She's tried to resign as treasurer several times and no one will let her, because she's so diligent with everything.
I really think it's a great organization, and if you listen to the people that come in and need help, you really, want to help them.
And we welcome donations from
Yeah.
churches and individuals, we don't turn money away. We just wanna see it, to help those who are struggling.
We appreciate you coming to us, and we appreciate the information, and if we could get the, that would be great. discussing those zoning, when I travel around and you hear rumors and mills and different things in the news, you talk about data centers and solar farms and all sorts of different things. And one of our concerns here in Tallapoosa County is we're a rural county. I've been here, good Lord lets me make it Friday, I'll be 43 years I've been here in Tallapoosa County. And a lot of people have got representatives here as well that say the same, that we have, taken our land and we have blood, sweat, and tears in order to keep it, to grow. And one thing that you see is, unfortunately, as older generations die off, those individuals, that property is sold. And the first thing that development starts looking at across the state is where can I get the cheapest amount of property for the best bang. So you start seeing where people start moving into these rural areas and try to develop. And that's our concern. We wanna make sure that as a rural individual, that we can do what we wanna do as far as growing our crops, growing our families, and we don't wanna make sure that individuals will come in with different culture, different, thoughts, ideals, and start looking at exploiting that ruralness of Tallapoosa County. And so we come in support that we prefer to keep zoning out of that rural, keep it in the cities where it belongs, because I know there is a place for it, there's a need for it. As we grow, here with Farmers Federation, we host the Farm City meeting every year in the fall of the year in November. And I think each and every one gets an invitation to that meeting. Well, that meeting's about making sure that you recognize the need for city and country, to where we're supporting that city growth by providing that food source for that growing population. And so we just come today and on behalf, and I think there's some others that have some thoughts and talks on that, but just wanted to make it work, because I know it may not be present today, but I know it's coming. I can see across the state, it's inevitable. New ideas and these all will be coming in, so at some point, that'll be addressed, will be brought up about zoning, the county commission in the rural areas, and we would appreciate it, nothing else. Make sure you think of us, make sure that it's not somebody coming into Tallapoosa County dictating what we, that's been here all our lives, that worked for, and fought for, and is utilizing. So, with that being said, I thank you for your time. Thank you, sir.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
And I wanna have an intelligent conversation on this, because I wanna understand some things and I wanna get some clarity. So I'm gonna come counsel. So what's more likely to prevent someone from coming into rural Alabama and dropping a 2,000 acre data center, having low-end zoning in place that restricts the use of that land, makes sure we can't use for that, or having unzoned land so that anybody can sell the land who they wanted to without restriction, and they just randomly show up and just drop a data center, there's nothing for you to stop it with.
No, I mean, if you're trying to restrict industrial in the middle of a neighborhood, or vice versa, you're trying to restrict farming in the middle of something else, then you have to have zoning to do it. Otherwise, unrestricted land, the county commission has no control over what happens to unrestricted land.
Yeah,
So,
see, what I'm saying to you is, well, y'all are saying, if we don't have plans for zoning as a body, what I'm saying on the other end is, the absence of zoning makes it easier for John and Jane Q, big city, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Google guy, who dropped a data center in your backyard. So I guess the only question becomes, I guess if the intent is to stop them, or put provision in place to stop them, having zoning restricting large sections of counties to farming only will protect you more than leaving it unprotected. See, they can come in here and buy land for you. Let's go back to your example. You got somebody, let's say, granddad owns a farm field with 1,000 acres. He goes to meet his maker. Child went up north, got one of those Ivy League degrees, ain't never gonna coming home. He just happens to be in the class with Mark Zuckerberg, said, well, I got 1,000 acres of rural Tallapoosa County, that's not too far from the Tallapoosa River. I'll sell it to you. Without any restrictions, that transaction could happen in a matter of days. With zoning saying that these townships are zoned strictly farming, you have some protection to prevent that from happening. So I'm just trying to understand, I wanna understand your position better. I'm trying to see what I'm getting our organization, the economic development leaders don't see that as something that's a good fit. And we're inclined to probably think about how we do protect the county, but I'm thinking in the absence of some type of zoning, that increases the likelihood. That's why they're popping up. That's why they're talking about all over rural Alabama right now, because those counties don't have zoning. So I just wanna understand your position. I know what.
Thank you for that. And then so the question, that's what, I understand that, there's two sides to every coin. But the issue that we have, and I've seen across, is once you open that door of zoning, and that, I appreciate your thought, and that would be awesome. If that was the whole thing where you zone it as rural and it cannot be developed. However, when you open that door to zoning, then you start working your way in, and that's what it starts to be. But then that developer gets in and he becomes this and that, and then it opens the door wide open.
The door is,
wide open right now.
that's what I'm saying, the door is wide open. Right, they're not even a house. Well, the door.
So-
So you, right now, see, I guess, we don't have to put anything in place for them to show up. They don't need our incentive, they don't need our resources, they can do it tomorrow. You don't have any protection.
Yes.
If that guy owns that 1,000 acres next to you, you have no protection right now. And that's all I'm saying. I just want you to understand that we're not doing anything that's gonna entice them. What we could do to prevent them, y'all are basically saying you wouldn't even want to consider that. And that's okay, we don't have, I don't get anybody's up here dying that don't do anything.
Yeah.
But I just wanna make sure we understand, we're working with the same set of facts.
Oh, yeah, and that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay, I'm good. I just wanna make sure we're on the same page here. I wanna make sure, I understand.
Our biggest thing, I think, is we wanna make sure we do have voice. That when that does come about, when that something happens or whatever, yeah, we're,
And I'm sorry, the only way we can have a voice is that there's structures in place for you to comment on. Right now, you don't have a voice. Literally, this body, if somebody went to North, somebody got 1,000 acres right adjacent to the Tallapoosa, somewhere near the new site or what have you, they can do that tomorrow, and you don't have a voice.
no Margaretville.
Except for maybe Avon talking about environmental impact, you don't have a voice right now. And us putting modern zoning in, only you have a voice.
By limiting what can be done.
Depends on what can be done. Right, we're not, I think because of maybe what they're doing in big cities, so there's zoning in place, they're changing zoning to benefit these companies. We don't have anything to change.
It's just wide open.
That's what I'm saying, it's wide open. So, we could have a collaborative conversation about how to put things in place to prevent it, or we could leave it just like it is, and it's the wild, wild west. That's
More
where that's-
rules equals less freedom.
Sir?
More rules equals less freedom.
Right, and keep it real, just like you want the free, and again, I'm good with that. But the more freedom you have to develop your land, the more freedom your neighbor has to sell that 1,000 acres to that same thing you don't want to have happen. If you're okay with that, we're good. Nobody's up here talking about zoning anything.
If I may say, the danger is, and there's a current Supreme Court lawsuit going on with the farmers of Minnesota, is that current zoning in Minnesota is being used to push out farmers. So the danger is present that unrestricted land will allow the unrestricted development of anything. But we already have evidence across many states, in current Supreme Court lawsuit, zoning is being used to push out farmers.
Yeah, no, I'm good, I'm good.
Go ahead.
I wrote something, if I could read it, that, I think it would probably express how most farmers are feeling. Now, I know a lot of people in this room aren't very familiar with who I am. I'm from Georgia. I am not from here, but I have married into what I believe is a generation of a 100-year-old generation of farming. So, and I'm not very comfortable speaking out loud, so I did write it down, and I might trip up a little bit. But my name is Kate Oliver. My husband and I are landowners here in Tallapoosa County. We are here to firmly reject any push towards county-wide zoning and land use regulations. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous.
right to sustain your family. Zoning completely strips away that freedom. Farming is a volatile business. We deal with unpredictable weather, skyrocketing costs, and razor-thin profit margins. When a family farm faces tough economic times, survival depends on diversification. I'm sorry, I'm shaking so bad. Whether that means building a new agricultural structure, hosting agritourism events, or leasing acreage to secure a steady income, that land is our financial lifeline. Forcing a farmer to drive to Dayville to pay for permits and beg the bureaucratic board for permission to use their own property is fundamentally wrong. A family retirement plan or a multi-generational inheritance should not be dictated by a government vote. Furthermore, we all know that zoning is a slippery slope. Proponents claim this is just about regulating big projects or solar farms, but history shows that once you create a zoning board, the rules never stop growing. What starts as restriction on energy projects today will inevitably turn into mandates tomorrow about where we can build our events, how close a tractor can park to the road, or how we can divide our own land for our children and our grandchildren. I'm sorry. True stewardship of this county doesn't come from government rule book. It comes from the farmers and the landowners who have cared for the soil for decades. We do not need outsiders moving into our rural communities using zoning laws to dictate what actual landowners can do, just to protect their own scenic views. I urge this commission to stand up for people who truly anchor this community, protect our private property rights, keep our rural communities free, and reject zoning shifts. So, I did write that prior to this meeting. I wasn't really sure how this would go. From the research that I did from across the country, zoning, yes, it doesn't protect us from data centers and everything else, but it does protect us with what we can and can't do with our own land. And like I said, my family that I've married into has worked hundreds of years on the same property. They have done this their entire life, and I think I can speak for most of the farmers here and the farmers in Tallapoosa County that have worked their entire lives to build up something for their children. And I think also too, moving forward, the future generation in my age group and younger generations before me or after me, they are working for the same thing. We are all trying to get back to how life used to be, where we had something to grow on. And I think that it is important that if we have a zoning board, that's gonna stop us, that's gonna start dictating everything that we do. And I think that's probably most of our concerns here.
It might not start out as that, but it will eventually trickle down to that type of tedious,
Well, for the record, I don't know what the impetus of this is. There have been zero legal steps taken by any governmental entity in Tallapoosa County to zone the unincorporated areas of the county. Not one legal step has been taken. So I don't know what the impetus of this was. Everyone is absolutely happy to give the opinion, but nothing has been done legally to do any zoning.
Right, and I think what it is that we're watching it change with the country
Well, that's
in
not-
rapid speed.
That may be true in other places, but no steps have been taken in Tallapoosa.
And every time the issue of zoning comes for any reason, it is bound to take that. So that this literally is an election year, and the absolute last thing anybody up here is gonna do in an election year is bring the absolute most controversial issue that a commission would bring up in rural Tallapoosa County, which is zoning. It's just not on our radar.
Right.
Even though we think there may be some upsides to it, we hadn't even talked about it. I mean, there's just no conversation, so I apologize. I wasn't getting into a debate with you for the sake of debate. It was literally saying that right now, as it is, the fact that everything is free and open and is the best opportunity for the companies to come in. And I think some of the things that you're tracking data-wise is those areas where there is zoning.
Yeah.
But once upon a time, Lynn